I'm just wondering how you guys over at Goldman are thinking about the situation with the ECB at the moment. What are the conversations generating?
Well, it's very similar to what was touched on before. It's that balancing act the ECB is trying to do of give some clarity that they're going to gradually ease policy without getting financial conditions to tighten so much. And that was the surprise, I think, to them when Mario Draghi announced this last month, is that actually markets reacted pretty sharply. You know, euro's up 1.5% since then. Financial conditions have actually tightened. So what we're looking for today, I think, is to try and balance that out a little bit to give some sense. Yes, they're still going to proceed with the taper. We do expect September is likely to be more details, but I think he's going to try and walk a really fine line of suggest it's happening, but he doesn't want to see the euro move up. You know, we're at 115. He doesn't want to see it any stronger than that, we don't think.
Yeah, Michael, on that point, the fine line is also sort of a trifecta between deflation, reflation, and inflation. It feels like to some extent the markets reacted on inflation, but Mario Draghi is going to have to drive home that it's a reflationary scenario, not necessarily inflation. How do you think he winds up doing that?
So we think that he's going to be looking at some kind of holding operation. You know, the ECB actually has a little bit of time on their side in the sense that they have the meeting in September, and then really the deadline for giving in an extension of the QE program is not until October. So there isn't really a rush at this meeting for Draghi to really set up the market too soon.
So, Andrew, you said that they have to be concerned about the euro where it is. It's climbed so high at this point. Will Mario Draghi admit that? If not in the statement, at least in the Q&A, will he actually confess to that? And would that in itself have an effect on the euro?
Well, I think he will reference financial conditions and the broad tightening that's taking place. The central banks typically, of course, don't like to comment on exchange rates specifically, so I think it'll be an oblique reference to that tightening, but he'll be very clear not to give a sound that we think the euro's too strong or too weak. So it'll be oblique, but I think it'll be there that this tightening has happened is detrimental. And of course, it impacts their inflation forecast. And if you go back to their last inflation forecast, the average euro exchange rate was around 109. So already that's going to put some downward pressure. As we heard, we won't see that until September, but they will be very conscious a stronger euro puts downward pressure on inflation, which is, of course, moving against their objective.